Okay, imagine this. A whole city where for 7 days straight, people cover themselves in ash and cow dung.
Right.
And they just roam the streets shouting obscenities at absolutely everyone, no matter who they are. Seriously, what would you even do?
It's a wild thought experiment, isn't it? Hide, join in, pay them to go away. It's quite the scenario.
Exactly. Total inversion of, well, everything you'd expect. And that's actually what we're diving into today, this ancient event, the Festival of Fools.
That's right. The Bālanakkhattavatthu in Pali happened in Sāvatthī. We've got these historical accounts, commentaries that describe it all.
And our goal here isn't just to, talk about how bizarre it was, although it definitely was bizarre.
No, not just that. We want to uncover the deeper wisdom that came out of it. It
Right.
really helps you see the difference between, well, foolishness and real insight, and why this idea of heedfulness is so crucial.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Sāvatthī, what was it like?
Oh, Sāvatthī was a major center, a really bustling, ancient city, lots of people, lots of activity.
And this festival, it wasn't some random riot, right? It was like on the calendar.
Exactly. It was known, publicly announced, people knew it was coming.
And the people taking part. The fools, as the texts call them. Bella de Medino Jana.
Yeah, and the definition is quite specific. They're described as unintelligent, unaware of what's actually good for them, either in this life or, the next one.
And their behavior. Wow. It's pretty shocking to read about.
It really is. Smearing their bodies with ash and cow dung, that alone is...
Quite a statement.
And then 7 days of just nonstop indecent language. A sabavaka, just imagine trying to go about your day with that going on outside your door.
The sources emphasize their complete lack of shame, too. That's striking.
Utterly shameless. Didn't matter if it was relatives, friends, even monks or nuns. They'd stand at every door just letting loose with insults.
So how did the regular folks, the ordinary citizens, cope with this? 7 days of abuse raining down on you.
Well, they couldn't really ignore it, could they? The accounts say they basically couldn't stand the obscenities.
So what did they do? Just lock their doors in hope.
They paid them off. That's the thing. They'd send out money, a half coin, a coin, sometimes a whole kahapano, which wasn't trivial just to make the fools move on.
Like hush money.
Pretty much. Pay them to take their shouting somewhere else. The fools would grab the cash and head to the next house.
Incredible. But Sāvatthī wasn't just about this chaos. There was this huge community of noble disciples there too, right? Arya Savaka.
A massive community. The texts mention a number like 5 crore, which is what, 50 million? A staggering number of people seriously practicing the path.
50 million. Okay, so for them, this festival must have been unbearable.
Absolutely unbearable. They just couldn't endure this constant stream of vulgarity and disrespect. It went against everything they were striving for.
So faced with this week of guaranteed offense, what was their strategy? Did they try to stop it?
Their approach was quite practical, actually, and collective. They got together and sent a message to the Buddha, the teacher, and the whole monastic community.
What did they ask?
They respectfully requested them not to come into the city for those 7 days, to just stay within the monastery grounds, safe from all the verbal assault.
That makes sense. Protect the Sangha.
Exactly. But they did more than that. For those 7 days, these noble disciples actually organized and prepared all the food, gruel, rice, whatever was needed right there in the monastery for the monks and nuns.
Wow. So they took care of the logistics too.
They did. And crucially, they themselves didn't leave their own homes either. They basically put themselves under house arrest for the week.
A kind of voluntary collective retreat from the madness.
Precisely. A self-imposed confinement to maintain their own peace and, avoid being dragged down by the negativity. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. Our own little modern versions of retreating from the noise. Okay, so the 7 days are up. The festival ends. What happens next?
So on the 8th day, calm is restored. The noble disciples then invite the Buddha and the Sangha back into the city. They arrange a big almsgiving.
And I imagine they had a lot to say about their experience.
Oh, absolutely. They sat down with the teacher and basically unloaded. They said something like, those 7 days were incredibly difficult. Our ears felt like they were bursting from hearing the fool's obscenities. Nobody had any shame towards anyone.
You can almost feel their relief mixed with the trauma of it.
Definitely. And they explain, that's why we asked you not to come into the city, teacher, and why we stayed in our homes.
How did the Buddha respond to this, to their distress?
Well, first he acknowledged it. He confirmed, yes, that is how fools and unintelligent people behave. That's characteristic of them.
Okay, validation.
But then he didn't just leave it there. He used it as a teaching moment. He drew this sharp contrast between the fool's behavior and the conduct of the wise, the metavino.
Ah, here comes the core teaching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said the wise protect heedfulness, apamade, like it's their most precious treasure, and that this heedfulness leads to the ultimate goal, the supreme bliss of nibbana.
And this is where those key verses come in.
Yes, he recited these verses that really crystallize the whole point. The first one goes, fools, unintelligent people devote themselves to heedlessness, but the wise person guards heedfulness as a supreme treasure.
Heedlessness versus guarding heedfulness. A clear choice.
And the second verse builds on that. Do not devote yourself to heedlessness. Do not be intimate with sensual pleasures. For a heedful person, meditating, attains abundant bliss.
Okay, let's unpack these terms because they're obviously central. Fools, bala. What does that really mean beyond just, acting foolishly during a festival?
The commentaries explain Bala as being characterized by this fundamental foolishness, this lack of understanding about what truly leads to well-being. Not just immediate well-being, but long-term, in this life and beyond.
And dummadino, unintelligent.
That's essentially lacking wisdom. Because they don't have this wisdom, they don't see the danger in heedlessness, in just drifting along, being mindless, so they indulge in it, waste their time. It's an unawareness, fundamentally.
Not seeing the consequences. So conversely, the wise person, the medavi.
That's someone who is endowed with wisdom. Specifically, wisdom that comes from understanding the Dhamma, the teachings. A true pandit, someone who sees clearly.
And this idea of guarding heedfulness like a treasure, a powerful image.
It really is. The analogy used is protecting it like it's this ultimate inherited treasure chest full of 7 kinds of gems. Supreme wealth.
Okay.
Just like people guard their money and valuables, maybe for immediate enjoyment or for security down the line, the wise person guards heedfulness with that same level of care and importance because they understand its true value.
So what is that value? What are the immense benefits that come from guarding heedfulness so carefully?
The results are profound according to the texts. Guarding heedfulness allows the wise person to attain higher states of consciousness, things like the jhanas, these deep states of meditative absorption.
States of real peace and clarity.
Exactly. And it leads to realizing path and fruit. Those are the stages of enlightenment, step-by-step dismantling of suffering. It also helps develop profound insights, like the 3 knowledges, which include remembering past lives, and even the 6 super knowledges, which are very advanced spiritual abilities.
Wow. That's a universe away from just avoiding a chaotic festival. It's about total transformation.
It is. The festival was just the trigger, the contrast that highlighted the importance of the inner work.
So for us listening now, what are the practical takeaways, the calls to action from those verses?
Well, there are 2 really clear instructions. The first is do not be heedless. Pretty straightforward, right? Don't give your energy to mindlessness. Don't waste your time drifting. Be present.
Stay awake, essentially.
You could say that. And the second is do not be intimate with sensual pleasures.
Okay, what does that mean precisely? Avoiding all pleasure.
Not necessarily avoiding all pleasant experiences, but rather not getting entangled in the craving that arises around sensual objects, sights, sounds, smells, tastes, touch, even thoughts. Don't let that craving, those defilements, take root and control your mind. Don't dwell on them. Don't chase after them constantly.
It's about the attachment, the entanglement, rather than the experience itself.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a sense of inner freedom from that constant pull.
And if someone manages this, if they guard heedfulness, stay mindful, avoid that entanglement.
Then the verse says, a heedful person meditating attains abundant bliss. That abundant, vast, great bliss is nibbana, the end of suffering, real, lasting peace.
So looking back at this whole story, the Festival of Fools, it wasn't just some weird historical curiosity.
Not at all. It became the perfect, if rather extreme, backdrop for this incredibly profound teaching.
Yeah, it highlights the stark choice we all face, doesn't it? Between a life drifting into heedlessness, getting caught up in, well, foolishness in a broader sense.
And a life of conscious, mindful wisdom. Guarding that attention, that awareness. The story really shows how easy it is to fall into unproductive, even harmful patterns when that awareness is missing.
And the impact of the Buddha's teaching right after this event.
It was immediate and powerful. The texts say many people in the audience right then attained stages of enlightenment, became stream enters or other noble ones. It clearly struck a deep chord.
Which really brings it home for us, I think. That final thought for you listening. In our world today, which is just constantly bombarding us, vying for our attention, maybe the real Festival of Fools isn't some ancient street party.
Maybe it's the everyday flood of distractions, the notifications, the endless scroll, the things that pull us away from what matters.
Exactly, the things that can lead us to waste our most valuable resources. Our time, our attention, our mental energy. So the question becomes, how might guarding your own heedfulness, treating your awareness like that supreme treasure, how might that change your daily life and maybe even your whole path forward